put both hands like this, please. Right thumb, left pinky. Now, just to point out, that wasn't meant to be the difficult part. And if you watch my hands carefully, I just want you to do one thing for me. Just this. I'll do it again in case you missed it. I'll do it really fast to irritate you. So all you're doing, you notice my hands and wrists stay completely still. That's all I need you to do. Can I show you what I'm seeing? So of course, some of you got to this point, so just to clarify, some of you got to this point, and then some of you did this. It's like we're willing it to happen, and then some of you, your tongue came out, because that's how adults concentrate. And then some of you got to this point and thought, if I just do this, he won't say anything. Try once more for me. Thumbs and pinkies swapping over, that's all I'm asking you to do. I'd love you to see some of your own faces right now. I also love the fact that some of you have quit on me already. Is it fair to say, ladies and gentlemen, that simple hand-eye coordination task for some of us felt completely unnatural? Good. Isn't it amazing that even as an adult, such a simple thing can make our brains just go, And I'm hoping today that you have lots of moments where your brain just kind of caves in on itself. In 1997, I left school at 17 years of age, and 3 months later, at 18 years of age, I walked straight back into another school, a primary school to be exact, at the start of my journey to become a primary school teacher. And I'm going to go as far to say that I believe being a primary school teacher is the greatest job in the world ever. I found myself in the most rewarding environment I could ever imagine myself working in. And of course I found myself surrounded by the most creative brains I could ever imagine myself being surrounded by. And whilst I absolutely include the staff members in that statement, I am very much talking about children under the age of 10. Every single day I witness the most wonderful acts of kindness, and they don't even know they're doing it. Even during times of conflict, difficult situations, the way they deal with it is incredible, it's inspiring. The way they fall out is genius. Because you know what it's like as adults. Like, we don't know how to fall out anymore, especially in work. You know how you've all got that colleague that you secretly don't like. And, awkward. They might be sitting beside you, what's even worse now. But of course, we know what it's like. If you don't like what a colleague's doing, or you don't agree with somebody, or you're just clashing personalities, it gets weird and uncomfortable when we're adults. We've forgotten what to do, but when you're 3, you get it dealt with. And I'll never forget my first ever experience in a nursery. I'm standing at the sandpit, which is key to this story, I think. And you've got a 3-year-old boy here and a 3-year-old boy here, and this one says to this one, "We're not best friends anymore." And this wee guy says, "I know, done." That's it. It's magic. Nobody fell out, nobody cried. Defences didn't come up, there was no stress, no fallout whatsoever. We just got it sorted. But the beautiful thing, of course, about being that age is this wee guy returns 7 minutes later and says, "Do you want to be best friends again?" And this little guy says, "Yes, I do. Let's dig." Maybe it's the digging. Maybe we just need more sandpits and more digging. But of course, I love it. I love it at that age. I love their mindset. I love their attitude. And actually, it reminds me of a book that I once read. It's one of my favourite books. You might know it. It's called Legacy. It's written by a guy called James Kerr. It's all about the New Zealand All Blacks. It's not so much about rugby. It's about life. It's about leadership. It's about mindset. It's about people. It's about human connection. And he shares a lot of the New Zealand All Blacks mantras. And of course, they're considered, or they are officially, the highest performing team in history. But he shares a lot of their mantras, and there's one in particular that reminds me of how we deal with each other as kids. And it's quite simply, "Stab me in the front." I love it. It's a bit brutal sounding, but actually the meaning behind it is beautiful. If you don't like what I'm saying, if we're not getting on, or if you think I could be better at something, you tell me to my face, and I'll respond with respect and humility, and we'll still be pals. But it's interesting, as I mentioned that, I'm remembering a few other New Zealand All Black mantras that I love. Follow the arrowhead. The spear tip has 3 points that face in different directions, and yet it works at its absolute best when it's being driven in one direction. They've got another one which I love. Plant trees you'll never see. It's magic. It's what you do every single day. Plant trees you'll never see. You'll do stuff now that might not be felt for another 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and you'll never know about it. But my absolute favourite mantra from the New Zealand All Blacks, when translated from Maori, simply means, "No dickheads allowed." What a wonderful rule in the world. Imagine that was a rule in every single workplace. Who would turn up? Let's name names. No, let's not do that. Like, don't name any names. In fact, let's name a couple. No, don't. Name none. Don't name any. But of course, I absolutely love it. I love it, and I love how seriously All Blacks take it. You know, we laugh about it, but actually take it really seriously. And there's players in New Zealand who have never been allowed to pull that shirt on for the one simple reason that they're a dickhead. And it's magic, because of course it's almost like they're channeling this idea, my take on that, and kids have got this sussed. It's like they're trying to encourage people every day to consider considering whether they're trying to be the best in the team, or the best for the team. Now that's one little subtle change of word there, and it changes everything. You trying to be the best in your school, or the best for your school? You trying to be the best school in Scotland, or the best school for Scotland? We're changing one word within each statement there. One small change, but it's changing everything when it comes to how we think, and how we act, and how we behave. And like I say, I believe kids have got this absolutely sussed when they're young. Their outlook in the world, like I said earlier, the way they embrace each other, the way they embrace challenges, and the way they think about each other is absolutely incredible. But it's interesting as adults, because our minds change, our thoughts change, our brains change. Out of interest, please put your hand up if you would consider yourself to be an overthinker. Is it possible to put the lights up a wee bit? Now the hands are going down. Can you put your hand right up if you're an overthinker? Right up, right up, right up. And can you all look around for me, please? Have a look around. Look at the number of hands in the air. So I think it's fair to say, at a quick count, that's pretty much every single person in the room considers themselves to be an overthinker. Hands up if you ever overthink things so much that you then overthink the fact you're overthinking. I realise some of you are having to think about that now. Okay, you can pop the lights down again for me. That sounds really nasty, it sounds like I don't want to see it. But it's interesting as adults, like I say, because we live in different times. Our brains, they're busy. I always remember my first ever day as a trainee primary school teacher. I arrived at the school, I was incredibly nervous, and I was met by the head teacher at the door. And the first time I saw her, when our eyes met, the first thought I had was, scary wee woman. And she stopped me very abruptly. She put her hand on my chest, which I thought was really odd, so I put my hand... I didn't. Just want to get that on film. I didn't do that, right? But she did it to me, and it was very odd. She was like, "You're a student, son?" And I was like, "Yes, Mum." But anyway, we got into the staff room, and I remember getting into the staff room and feeling like I had made it. I was really excited, and I sat down, and there was a lady approached me and said, "You're sitting in Anne's chair." So I moved, and I went to somebody to go get yourself a tea or coffee. I have a caffeine allergy, which is unheard of. But I was 18, straight out of school, and somebody told me to make a coffee, so I went and made the coffee. And I'm standing stirring it, thinking, I'm going to die. And then somebody said, you're using Anne's mug. Never actually met Anne, and I hate Anne. Anne caused me a lot of grief that morning. Anne was always off with stress. Too many people using her mug. But I stood there on a Monday morning as people were coming and going, and I felt great. I felt like I'd made it. But I didn't really know where to sit or what to do, so I just tuned into the conversation. And what I picked up on really quickly was a really interesting vibe that morning. The only way I can describe it is with the word grumpy. And I couldn't understand why any workplace would feel grumpy on a Monday morning. I thought, they've just took 2 days off. They must have come for this job, they've taken the job, they've signed a contract, they must take the money every month. So why do you not turn up on a Monday morning absolutely buzzing? Now, depending on where you're from, that word has many different meanings. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. But of course, it was one of those moments where I thought, just tune in and keep listening to some of these conversations. And it was kind of odd. I didn't, this weird feeling in the room. I thought about leaving. I genuinely thought about leaving based entirely on other people's moods, mindset, attitudes, behaviours, conversations, some of their faces. And you'll know what I mean by that. You'll have met those people who just have a face. And when it arrives, it ruins other faces. But I didn't leave. And I'm glad I didn't leave. Because right in that moment, it all changed for me with the introduction of one member of the team. Now, this wasn't anyone in any official leadership role. This was one of the most important people we have in our schools. She was a classroom assistant. This woman just floated into the room like Mary Poppins. Practically perfect in every way, if I can quote the movies directly. It was like she had rays of light coming out her face. She just lit the room up. Everyone relaxed, everyone smiled, conversations changed, the mood lifted, and I remember standing there thinking, wow, who are you? You've not even opened your mouth. You just turned up. How do you get to a point where you just need to turn up and you have that sort of impact? You've got your relationships, you've built them up to a certain point where you just need to walk in the front door and you have that kind of impact on every single person around you. I want to be you. I want to be Mary Poppins. I'd never had that thought before. This was a new one on me, newly turned 18 and ready to channel my inner Poppins. But I was ready. But I tell you what it did, just in that moment, it threw me back to when I was in school and got me thinking about all the teachers that I met, all the people that I met as a kid who had huge impact on me. And I want you to do this for me right now, very quickly. I want you to think back to as many teachers' names and faces as you possibly can. There'll be two types you remember quickly. There'll be your Mary Poppins types and there'll be your Mr. Banks, if we can stay with the Mary Poppins theme. Although if you've never seen Mary Poppins, we'll just go goodies and baddies. Although I have to be honest, Mr. Banks is not a baddie. He's actually a really good guy. He loves his family very much. He's under a huge amount of pressure. He's very busy. The bank's a busy place on. His boss is not a very particularly nice person. He's just incredibly stressed. And if you've never seen Mr. Banks, starring Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson, get it watched because it's the best and most underrated movie of all time. In fact, just download it now. Let's get it on the screen. Indigo Bell, we'll go get the drinks in and we'll crack on. We'll go with these two types just now. Let's start with your Mary Poppins. That's those women and those men who are a joy. They're magic. They taught you great stuff, but most importantly, they saw you, they heard you, they got you, they supported you, they would guide you. Even if their subject wasn't your favourite subject, it didn't matter because it was them. You think about them now, you feel something. It doesn't matter if it was 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. You think about them now, you feel something right here. And they make that happen. They have lifelong, lasting impact. They are magic. And then, of course, there's your Mr. Banks. And that's those women and those men who, let's just be blunt about it, are an absolute disgrace and shouldn't be allowed in the classroom in the first place. They're bored, miserable, angry, negative, unhappy people. The problem with these people is that they too have lifelong, lasting impact. You think about them now, it doesn't matter how many years ago it was you were in school, you think about them now, you feel something. They made that happen. And that's not cool. And then there's the ones in the middle that we can't remember. And I'd like to tell you why we can't remember them. Because they're not memorable. I asked my nephew about this recently, who finished up school last summer, and I said, how would you describe those teachers? And his response went like this, meh. I said, you spelling that M-E-H? He said, oh, meh. I said, did you have to do that with your hands? He was like, every time, meh. But of course, it was in that moment I remember the first piece of advice we got at university on day one. We hadn't even started the lecture, we hadn't even been welcomed, and this lady stood up at the front of the room and she said, the first thing I'm going to say to you boys and girls, she called us boys and girls, she said, it doesn't matter if you end up in teaching or not, you will take this with you for the rest of your life. And I realised now she was quoting the old Mary Angelou quote, but I didn't realise it at the time. She said, I want you to remember this. Most people you meet will not remember what you do. They absolutely won't remember what you say, but they will remember exactly how you make them feel. And it was in that moment I got it. I realised why I was here, whether I stay in teaching or not. This is what I'm here to do. My job is to turn up. It's to turn up and to be there. The best advice I ever had in my entire life, do less, be more. I think it's genius. Hands up right now if in your job you're suffering from busyness. It's a new disease. It's quite infectious. Do you ever find yourself busy being busy? We live in a time now where we're like, oh, we've got nothing to do, I better look busy. Or maybe you could take some time out for yourself. It's very hard to turn up every single day and do all the things that you're expected to do and tick all the boxes, but we can still be present. But it's difficult. Like I say, we live in interesting times. Let's take these things here, for example. I'm sure you've all got one of these right now. I wonder how many of you would ever allow the battery to run down to zero on this. I wonder how many of you would ever allow this to be out of your sight. We live in a time now where we are on constantly, 24 hours a day. I've got the entire world in my hands right now that I can access 24 hours a day. The challenge is they can access me pretty much 24 hours a day as well. I wonder how many of you lie in your bed at night with your phone here, or under here, or on your face if you really love your phone. I wonder how many of you have ever done that thing where you don't know where your phone is and you have that little minor panic. We used to do that when we lost our kids in supermarkets. Now we just text them and find out where they are. Wonder how many of you lie in your bed at night with your partner, scrolling, That response tells me all I need to know. Wonder how many miles we've now scrolled with our thumbs. A million years from now, can you imagine how big your thumbs are going to be? 5 million years, we'll just be thumbs. Thumbs that roll about the floor, communicating with each other, or not. Like I say, we live in times where we're just on all the time. I was working with some first-year pupils through in Edinburgh, and I said to them, I'm old enough to remember what it was like to have no mobile phone. They all thought this was hilarious. One wee girl said, but how do you speak to your friends? I said, we did this, with our faces. And they said, what if they lived down the street? I was like, you walked out your front door, and you went to their front door, and you knocked their door and said, you coming out? That was the fun. When was the last time you all called in for a pal? Do it tonight. They'll be like, why did you not message me first? And this wee girl said, what if you were going to be home late and you had to let your mum know? And I said, well, we had to find the phone box. I had to phone the operator and reverse the charges. And if my mum collected the call, it was all right. If she didn't, I had to run as fast as I possibly could. To which they all replied, who's the operator? What's the phone box? I thought, right, shut up. Do you remember when Saturday night television was incredible? I'm specifically talking about Baywatch. Knight Rider, The A-Team, Blind Date, oh somebody cheers, Gladiators. That era was just perfect, wasn't it? When families sat down together and watched shows together, we invested in it, we laughed and clapped and cheered together. Wonder how many families do that nowadays? Probably none. There'll be at least one of you sat there going, we do. No, you don't. You'll now be sat there going, I bloody well do. You don't, because you've checked your emails twice, they're Snapchatting, they're on Instagram, there's a couple of tablets getting passed around, you are physically in the same room, but you are absolutely not present. We're not. And if you look at the science and psychology behind it, it's no different from being physically in a different room. It's time for us to do less and be more, so that we can turn up, and I mean turn up, every day to be present. And you'll know what I mean by that. You'll have those colleagues that turn up every single day and you feel it. Those Mary Poppins types that we meet throughout life. But you'll also have met the ones who turn up. It's a very different mindset to how we walk in the front door on a Monday morning. We need to switch off, lift our heads, go outside, take a big deep breath, and remember who we are. So the way I see it, school, life, work, it's like a big bowl of Rice Krispies. You take a big bowl and you fill it with Rice Krispies. Nothing else at this stage, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't get ahead of me here. Just plain Rice Krispies. How would we describe them? There's a word for you right there. Plain. Give me some more. Crispy, dry, bland. Oh, I love that word, bland. It's such a poor word. It's like bland. It's like beige. They're pale, they're quiet, and they stay still, and they're a wee bit dusty. Until you add what? The milk. Then what happens? There was a few of you ready to say that there, eh? They snap, they crackle, they pop, they fizz, they bang, they whiz, they float, they spill out over the edge, they come alive in the bowl, and you can see them moving in front of you. But the interesting thing is, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't get stuck in, devour it, top it up and refresh them entirely sometimes, occasionally chuck some sugar on, it turns to what? Mush. It becomes soggy. Or do you know what it becomes? It becomes a bit meh. Do you know who wants them, apart from your dog? No one. No one will take them. So if our jobs and school and life are the Rice Krispies, that makes us the milk. And if we don't get stuck in, devour it, top it up and completely refresh it when you have to, and occasionally chuck some sugar on, bear in mind you're not Willy Wonka, but sometimes you need to sugarcoat stuff. If we don't do that, do you know what it turns to? Mush. It becomes a little bit meh. So in a sentence that's never been used to finish a TEDx presentation before, the last thing I'd like to say to you, other than thank you for your time, and I think you have the best job in the world, it's this. Ladies and gentlemen, be the milk. Thanks for your time.